So in these practices, basically we are releasing inner psychedelics. Because energy is there, but it is divided into hundreds of streams. But passion is not enough also. With passion has to be obsession. I live in the midst of everything, but I'm so focused on this flame of awareness inside me.
Welcome to Soma, the art and science of somatic living, a podcast exploring life through the intelligence of the body.
Dr. Jivasu, is it possible for one to become enlightened or liberated by practicing yoga maybe once or twice a week, or maybe once every day, or maybe meditate once every day?
It is not. Totally not. Because when yoga emerged in India, the practitioners of it, they were completely devoted, 24 hours. So it was not a question of practice, but the whole life. So they stayed in gurukuls, where a guru was there. They lived there, their food was cooked. They studied there. So it was a total immersion. And that was possible in those days. So although the tradition of yoga came to the modern time, but we could only practice a little piece of it. And that also part-time. And the reason is very clear, because life became very complex now. And an average person in those days used to do fewer things. And they were not connected globally. So their mind was very grounded in that area, in their body, land, people. So it was calmer. And so they could continue with that practice, but not in our time. So what we did, we just only took a part of it which is convenient to us. And so we can practice 1 hour, 2 hours, a day, sometimes 3 hours. And then we go to retreats or intensive or immersion for a few days. Fly all over the world. And thinking will be transformed, will be liberated, will be enlightened. And I've seen that plenty, because I taught international students in India, and they were flying from all over. And they were very clear. But the only problem was that they couldn't do, because once they went to their country, they were busy in their jobs, with their family, challenges of life. So again, to emphasize, no, we cannot become enlightened if we are only practice an hour, 2, or even 3 hours. And actually, somebody said about it that you must have at least 10,000 hours of practice in order to create a very secure base in any discipline. It may be writing, it may be music, it may be painting, it may be engineering, it may be mathematics, it may be medicine, and that is also true in meditation, yoga. Because by those devoted hours, we are building our biological system, our body and brain, so that the experience will remain anchored. So what happens if I do practice for 1 to 2 hours? There will be change. We will experience, of course, like in our sessions also, people experience peace, sense of well-being, sense of happiness, sense of silence. Why does that happen? It is because of the physiological changes, chemical changes. Neurotransmitters are changed. Just like it happens in the case of psychedelics also. So in these practices, basically we are releasing inner psychedelics. But that change is temporary. It will remain for few hours, sometimes few days, if some people are very sensitive, and then it will disappear. It doesn't bring any anatomical changes, structure of our brain, structure of our body.
What about ones that, say, may have a regular morning practice where they get up at a certain time and they practice for an hour or two and it's daily habit for them?
It doesn't matter.
They created a pattern in their day.
That's right. But it doesn't matter. It is not enough. Of course, it will give them benefits. As we know, they will have better sleep. They will be having more relaxing day. Their blood pressure will be low. Their anger won't be out of control. Their emotions will be regulated. All those features are very well documented in various research.
So it's very beneficial.
Very beneficial. But once we are talking about actually transformation,
The purpose of yoga, the actual true purpose of yoga, whatever path it may be,
that's right.
there's an element missing.
That's right. So that cannot happen, because as I mentioned, that we have to change the whole system, which we call neuroplasticity in brain and nervous system. And that is not possible for a short practice. There will be a change, but that change won't last. The whole system will come back.
What are we missing then in this practice that maybe people in the time of writing yoga or these practices came up? What are we missing here that they might have had?
Well, if you really look into definition of yoga coming from the word yuj, yuj means linking. So we are going to link here our practice to our daily life. Because yoga has so many meanings.
Yeah.
It's such a deep and profound word and can be applied in so many situations. So here I have to link my practice to my life. What that means? My life becomes my practice. My practice becomes my life. They are completely intertwined. They cannot be separated anymore. So what is needed? Two things. Very clearly, two things. Number one, passion. Some people, if you really look into their practice, it becomes another chore.
Yeah.
Eating breakfast, taking a walk, and playing with the children. So it is the chore, or watching a movie. So it becomes a chore, a daily routine. And they feel very good about it, and there is no harm in that. But here we are talking something very different. So first thing is that passion. That it is no more chore. Once we go into it, we go with totality. But somehow most people's lives are built in such a way that they don't do anything with totality, with wholeness. Neither they are angry with wholeness, nor they love with wholeness. Even if they are doing their job, they are not completely present in their job. They are with their loved ones, they are not completely there either. This is not their fault, because that is how we build human beings since childhood.
Right.
Because we are having children, but we taught those children to really be in many directions. Because child has inner direction, inner personality. If we allowed that child to align with that personality, follow that personality, there will be wholesomeness, totality.
So energy's missing nowadays, and so the passion is basically missing.
Missing. Because energy is there, but it is divided into hundreds of streams. That is why mind is constantly distracted.
Yeah.
And the researchers are saying, because this part is called autobiographical self, on my story, and there is a specific part of the brain which deals with it, it is called default mode network.
And we're just operating in default mode network.
Associative thought, jumping from one to another, to another, to another, but never there is a river.
Yeah.
Because once those energies are gathered, then come passion. That means I'm going to enter into it with totality of my being, with my emotions, with my thoughts, with my body, which happens in flow. And what happens in flow? Default mode network is bypassed. Distraction is bypassed. So one is so focused. So there is a whole flow psychology. And that is the beauty of flow. In that moment, all distractions are gone and I am focusing in the moment. It is about runners, skydivers, surfers, swimmers.
And they can measure this, and
They are measuring it. So there is so much research is going on. And it is called also hypofrontality. It means front part of the the brain, which has all these voices, analysis, thought, that is also bypassed. In those moments, all these people become like Superman and Superwomen. That is why that title of the book, Rise of Superman by Steve Kotler, it was all about flow. And that is why people achieve. If you really look into an achievement, an extraordinary achievement of Michael Jordan or Einstein or Newton or a Picasso or Mozart, it doesn't matter. All of them had quality that in certain moment they entered into whatever they were doing with totality. Marvelous, extraordinary energy, because that energy then was able to shatter old patterns and push them into something completely new. That became creativity. Same thing here. Passion. So in passion, what I'm doing in yoga, I'm carrying all my memory structure of the past, all my trauma, all my memories, which we call karma. So that is why in yoga, you have to break through your karmas. Otherwise, we are just revolving around the karma.
right.
In order to break whole lifetime of karma, or some people who believe in past life, and karma of my ancestors, karma of my community, karma of my religion, of the whole universe. So a lot of people actually don't understand karma fully, because karma is not only personal. Personal karma, karma of my parents, karma of my ancestors, karma of my nation, karma of my race, because I am carrying the memory of all those, including karma of earth, my universe. I'm bounded by it. So such a massive force. If I just give it a thumb, it will shake. Nothing will happen. It needs massive, massive wave of passion to dissolve it.
Hey everyone, it's Matt from the podcast. If you're enjoying this conversation and you want to go deeper, Soma Path offers different classes, courses, and trainings that will help you actually experience what we're talking about, and they're accessible to all. Everything can be found through the link in the description. And from time to time, we do offer free programs and trainings there. So if this is resonating with you, that would be your next step.
So everyone needs to be searching for their passion for this part.
That's right. And in yoga, it is described how to, and that is in niyama, the second limb of yoga, that once you are aligned with your personality, they call it swadhyaya, self-study, means self-knowledge, tapas, heat, passion will be generated. So there is a very clear way. It is not that, okay, I'm sitting here, that no, I cannot bring the passion. No, there is a method, there is a technique. So first one is passion. But passion is not enough also. With passion has to be obsession. Because passion will emerge in a moment and it may subside. It won't do anything much. Passion has to be maintained. That is what obsession is. I want to become billionaire. If you really look into the history of these corporate leaders, political leaders, great sports people, chess players, painters, they not only had passion, but they had obsession. So practicing with passion, great idea. But what is the meaning of obsession? Obsession means when this passion is persisting in my emotions, in my feeling, in my thoughts, mean in my mind. So what will happen? Okay, I'm practicing 2 hours because, you can't do more than that, and some people can do 3 hours. But after 3 hours, practice is not over because passion and obsession, that thrill, that excitement, that energy is continuing in my heart and in my mind. Because that is what obsession is all about. So if I want to become a billionaire, so not only I will go to office, sit there for 8 hours or do all kinds of things in order to manage the business. Even when I'm home, it will be going through my mind constantly.
So does that become a meditation?
Exactly. Because now everything is linked to my life, because this is the meditation without sitting. So whatever I'm doing, now I'm focusing like a greedy person on enlightenment. Actually, Ramakrishna Paramahansa, a sage from India, he said, unless you become like an eagle who is flying very high, is still looking at the ground for any food, although flying very high. So you become greedy, you are obsessed with it. And that obsession penetrates each cell of the body, each thought. You are doing everything. You are going through this world. But your mind is focused on practice, which is going on continuously inside you. Actually, there is another story, very, very interesting from India again. In ancient time, there was a king, Janak, and he was enlightened. So some of these sages, they sent their student that if you really want to live in the world and become enlightened, go to King Janak. So some of these students went and they were surprised. He was living ordinary life. He had all this gold and wealth and queens and princes and children and the whole 9 yards of a kingdom. So one of them, out of curiosity, asked, "Sir, my teacher sent me to you to learn from you, but I can learn from you because you are totally involved in this ordinary worldly life, from sex to wealth and everything." He said, "Okay, we are going to do one thing. So tomorrow morning you must come to the roof of my palace and we'll talk there. So, next morning, king was there and a student. So what king did, he put a oil lamp. It was lighted on the right palm. And he said, you must take this lamp from this end of the roof to other end, but one condition, there should not even a drop of oil should be spilt. He said, a very strange lesson, but he did it. So he took the lamp and he was very careful because not even a drop. And so he crossed and reached there, and King Janak was there. He said, sir, I finished this exercise, now what? He said, now you must tell me, when you were doing this, did you see a rose flower? Did you see a mustard plant? Did you see the princess was sitting and there was a white sheet and then there were some gray clouds in the sky, maybe bringing rain? He said, no, I didn't see. So he said, why? He said, because I was focused on this lamp so that not even a drop of oil will be spilled. Then he said, that is how I live. I live in the midst of everything, but I'm so focused on this flame of awareness inside me. So I go through this 9 yards. It doesn't matter. That should be the focus. So what happens? Your consciousness can be divided into two. So what I want to emphasize through this story, by living in this world a very ordinary life, still we can be liberated. There are ways. Because we can easily divide our consciousness. One who is taking care of outside, and second is continuously focusing.
Because it brings up a question then, because it sounds like that you don't necessarily have to do a physical yoga practice or meditate. If you found that thing that brings so much passion that that's the obsession, that becomes your yoga.
That's right. That's right. Another story actually, just to emphasize your point again, that our consciousness becomes like two birds sitting on a tree. This story is from Upanishad. One bird is eating the fruit from the tree. Other bird is watching the first bird eating the fruit. So those two birds are basically two parts of our consciousness. We can train ourselves. The first bird enjoying the fruits, ordinary world. And second one watching the first one eating the fruit. Remains just the witness. And that is the meaning of dhyan, the seventh limb of Patanjali's yoga. Dhyan means pure attention, witnessing attention. And there are very concrete ways to do it. So it's not something very vague. So what are those two methods to cultivate? Number one is interoception. In neurobiology, now there is a big word, interoception. We call it somatofulness. It means when you are aware of whatever is going inside you. Life is flowing continuously, and that life is giving enough signs and symptoms in the form of body changes. The moment your awareness comes to this through interoception, you are always aware of your being. In simple thing, in very deep thing.
And this is different from being aware of our thoughts.
Yeah, because here we are taking actually the state of the life in the body.
Through sensations.
That's right. So, simple thing: thirst, hunger, nausea, heat, cold, dryness of the eyes, fatigue, sleep, attention, and so on and so forth. So this is called eighth sense, because 7 senses for the external world, 8 sense for internal world. This is the first part only. Once I get connected to all these, then gradually what will happen? One day I will start noticing tingling, stream of energy, flow, bliss. So in the beginning, going through these rather, maintenance of the body, maintenance of the life, but then we actually enter into the life itself. Because that life is vibration. Because life is an energy, all energy is sound, all sounds are vibration. So after the maintenance, I enter into the river of life. And it is 24 hours. We need not to stop, because we must keep on doing whatever we want to do. We cook our food, we go to sleep, we walk, we do our job. But what happened? My consciousness now is connected to this.
I'm assuming when we connect to this sensations, what we're feeling, we're carrying on with our day, but then we start being guided more by the body than by our thoughts. Exactly. Our choices are going to come more instinctively.
Exactly. And there is a reason for that, because body is the confluence, meeting point of matter, energy, and consciousness. So this body is a microcosm. So the moment I am connected with all three. And what is the definition of liberation and enlightenment? That is what it is. You are connected to all three, and gradually it expands in the universe, because body is the micro-universe. So this is one of the very clear technique, method, how 24 hours. Second part is understanding my somatic personality. Because once I understand my personality, then I will put self-care plan, and I will become conscious of my sleeping, eating, exercise, work, relationship, hygiene, clothes, home. Because I'm taking self-care. And self-care is 24 hours thing. And through that, again, I'm connecting to life, because the beauty is that once I'm aligned with my personality, I experience flow. All energies are together. And when that flow becomes strong, again, I shatter my karma.
How do we know what suits us then? Are we just testing things out?
It is by feedback.
Through the sensations.
Through the sensation. So what is the experience of flow? Flow is high energy state, creative, sense of well-being, happiness, and inner contentment. That is start coming. And body will give me feedback. It's an auto feedback. So gradually we correct. So in the beginning it will be for 2 hours, 4 hours, then we'll make correction. It will increase. Then it will become almost uninterrupted state. Almost, because it can never be continuous. There will be period out of flow, there will be period of problem, but nonetheless, as a baseline, it will be established. So again, to give it a summary, passion and obsession Those are the beginning. And here, how we do? Through interoception and also understanding somatic personality. So we need not to do physical practice for 8 hours because life becomes the practice.
But then where does the physical, let's just call it hatha yoga, or the physical practice of yoga and meditation, where do they fit into this? Do they fit in, or do they even help?
Yes, they do. In the beginning, we have to start from somewhere. So in the beginning, certainly, it is essential, it is a necessity, because we are carving out time. But that must slowly be replaced by something which is going on 24 hours. And if we come to that point, there won't be any fixed appointed time for any practice. It will be happening throughout the day, even in the night, spontaneously. So you are waking up in the bed, you are doing certain yoga poses. We call somatic poses. Or during the day, you feel very peaceful, you become meditative. But you are not assigning any time. Because life is such, if we are very busy, that we cannot assign time, longer period of time. So here, they happen spontaneously all the time. And that is where my practice is linked with my life. Life becomes practice. Practice becomes life. Because that is the only way for people like us to reach to our peak potential, to the samadhi, to that liberation. Because only perhaps 1% or even less than 1% can say, okay, I'm going to devote my 100% life to yoga.
Before we finish up, I would like to ask, why would someone want to be enlightened or liberated? Is this the part of life?
It is the natural impulse. We don't create it. What is the purpose of life which is flowing in me? To reach its peak. It is innate, not only in you and me, in a lotus, in a deer. They also want to reach their peak potential. Because it is the life force within us. That is why all of us have meaning and purpose innate in us. So a lot of people say, life doesn't have any meaning. Like in existentialism, they say, life is absurd. You are thrown in this world and this universe is indifferent, so you have to find the meaning. You have to create the meaning and live by that meaning. From my point of view, that's not right. We are born with that. So that is why no matter how much we achieve in external world, we can never be satisfied. Because if that meaning in external world could bring us to that point, we would have been happy, but none of us.
This is what we're searching for.
So that life is constantly pushing, not only for external, but primarily the internal.
We're searching externally, and we need to go into that eighth sense of interoception.
That's right. Connect to it. Understand self-knowledge. So that is why it is not in our hand, unfortunately. Even if I say, I want to be satisfied, we won't be able to rest. Body will be resting, mind will be still restless, because it is the impulse of life itself which is driving us.
Well, thank you very much, Jivasu, for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Matt.